Hello, in today's video we will learn about what is octane number and cetane and how they affect self-ignition in spark and compression ignition engine. Octane number: it is the property of fuel to describe how well a fuel will or will not self-ignite. It is a measure of fuel resistance to knock in spark ignition engine. Or it is a measure of anti-knock quality of fuel. Octane number rating: it is based on reference scale which has two ends. At the one end it is iso-octane which has rating of 100 octane number. At the other end it is normal heptane which has value of 0 octane number. The iso-octane has very good anti-knock quality, which means that it is high self-ignition temperature. While the normal heptane has very bad anti-knock quality, which means it is low self-ignition temperature and thus pre-ignition occurs which cause knocking in spark ignition engine. For example, gasoline has octane number of 90, which means 90% iso-octane and 10% normal heptane. It means there are 10% chances of that fuel will self-ignite. How does the octane number affect the self-ignition or pre-ignition in spark ignition engine? Higher the octane number of fuel, the higher will be self-ignition temperature of fuel. And there will be less chances of fuel to self-ignite. Engine with low compression uses low octane fuel, while the engine with high compression ratio uses high octane fuel. It means that during the compression stroke the temperature and pressure becomes higher in the high compression ratio engine if we use the low octane number fuel in the high compression engine. As we know that the low octane fuel has low self-ignition temperature, which causes this to self-ignite before combustion in spark ignition engine. Therefore we use high octane fuel in high compression ratio engine. Mostly fuel with low octane number are used in diesel or compression ignition engine. Because if there is low self-ignition temperature, it reduces ignition delay time in diesel engine. Therefore low octane fuel are used in diesel engine. We will learn about ignition delay in next slide. Before we know what is cetane number, we should understand what is ignition delay. It is the time interval between start of injection of fuel and start of combustion of fuel. Cetane number: it determines the ignition quality of fuel or diesel fuel. The property that control the ignition delay time of the fuel in compression ignition engine is called cetane number. Cetane number rating: cetane number scale is defined by two standard reference fuels. One is N-cetane with a cetane number of 100. And other is heptamethylnonane with a cetane number of 15. Cetane number of fuel is given as: it is the sum of percent of N-cetane and 0.15% of heptamethylnonane. How cetane number affects the ignition delay and self-ignition in compression ignition engine. Larger the cetane number, the shorter will be the ignition delay and the quicker the fuel will self-ignite. And lower the cetane number, larger will be the ignition delay. This means larger the cetane number, lower will be self-ignition point, and there will be less time interval between the start of injection and start of combustion of fuel, which means shorter the ignition delay. Higher the cetane number, which reduce the tendency to knock in combustion ignition engine. Higher the cetane number, lower will be self-ignition temperature. Lower the cetane number, higher will be self-ignition temperature. Conclusion: octane number is used for petrol engines or spark ignition engine, while cetane number is used for diesel engine or combustion ignition engine. As we know that octane number is measure of resistant to knock, while cetane number determines the ignition quality of fuel. Octane number and cetane number both are inverse to each other. Higher the octane number, higher the self-ignition temperature, while higher the cetane number, lower the self-ignition temperature. Thanks for watching. Do like, share and subscribe. Mechiomatic. Follow us on Instagram at Mechiomatic.